This week in Biology 1441, we will be doing a scavenger hunt at the JMNR Nature Reserve. So let's talk a bit about insect keying, because one of the things you'll need to do is to key out insects and potentially some plants as well to help you identify them while you're out in the reserve. There are several orders of insects that you're likely to encounter. I will talk about a few of their characteristics here just to help you to identify them. Odonata. So we're talking about phylum Arthropoda here. The class is the insects, and we're talking about which order of insects here. Order Odonata. And Odonata include the dragonflies and the damselflies. You could find them potentially in the creek as larval forms, which look kind of like this. Kind of look like the adult, but with gills, 3 gills extending off the back here. They have 2 sets of wings that are pretty equal in size. So, how do you identify them? Typically, 2 pairs of long wings, large spherical compound eyes, they have chewing mouth parts, and their immature forms are aquatic. Order Orthoptera. Orthoptera. This is the grasshoppers and cricket group. They have wings that extend the length of the body when they're folded up. The front wings are leathery, and the hind wings are actually membranous and used for flight. So they have 2 sets of wings, but the front wings are more protective. They also have chewing mouth parts. They can bite and chew things, and they have jumping hind legs, which I'm sure you're familiar with. That's order Orthoptera. Order Mantodea, that's the praying mantises. 2 grasping forelegs, chewing mouth parts, large compound eyes. And I think Phasmatodea might be linked in with Mantodea now. They may have changed the classification, but these are the walking sticks. They're related as well. Order Hemiptera. Hemiptera. This is the order that includes true bugs, like the stink bug. And they have 2 sets of wings, as like a lot of insects do. The front wings are protective and leathery. The rear wings are membranous, and they cross. They overlap one another, so one's overlapping the other here, leaving this triangular shape visible on the back. Not on all members of the group, but on many you'll see that triangular shape. And this group does not have chewing mouth parts, but they have sucking mouth parts. So they'll have what looks almost like a little needle for a mouth. So you'll see the scutellum on a lot of these, which is that triangle. They have a piercing, sucking mouth part rather than a chewing mouth part. This is a very common group. You're likely to find somebody in this group. And there are lots of members, some of which look quite a bit different from one another, like aphids and cicadas and other members of the group that you could find out in the reserve. Order Coleoptera. Coleoptera is the most diverse order here, and it is the beetles, essentially. They have 2 pairs of wings also. The front pair are protective. The hind pair are membranous for flying, but the wings don't cross over one another. There's a straight line down the back. And this group has chewing mouth parts again, so they don't have that sucking, piercing mouth part. There's lots of diversity in this group, but you can see that straight line where the wings come together. Lots of diversity. It's an amazing group. You should take Dr. Desord's course on entomology to learn more about these different groups. Order Isoptera. This is the termites. They have 2 sets of long wings, if they have wings. The wings are of equal length. Chewing mouth parts. They look kind of like a wasp or an ant, but their waist is not constricted like an ant's. And they're often found in rotten logs or underground. Order Lepidoptera. You might find these in larval form as caterpillars, and you might find them as adults. They have scaly wings, they have long antennae. These include the moths and the butterflies. Lepidoptera. This name literally means, ptera means wing, and lepido means scaly. They're the scaly winged organisms. If you put them under a microscope, their wings are covered in little scales. Order Diptera, if you look at the name, that's 2 wings. This group has only 2 sets of wings, the front wings. They actually do have vestigial hind wings called halteres that you can see here and here. See those little nubbins? This includes crane flies, mosquitoes, and house flies. And they have sponging or sucking mouth parts. Order Hymenoptera kind of looks similar to the flies, and sometimes you'll actually find flies that are pretending to be bees. They have 2 pairs of wings, or they can be wingless. So a front pair and a hind pair. Sometimes, though, if you see what you think is a bee, but it has these vestigial wings or halteres, you'll know it's actually a fly, mimicking a bee. So 2 pairs of wings are wingless. The front wings are bigger than the back wings. They have a constricted waist, so they pinch off in the waist area, and they have chewing mouth parts. Now I'm going to ask that you just try to avoid catching bees and things today, because I don't want you to get stung. But what you can do is you can catch an ant or take a picture of an ant or a bee sitting on a flower or something while you're out there to have them count rather than grab them, since this group does tend to bite and sting. So, if you found this in the woods, what order would it be? I'll give you a hint. There's one set of wings right here, and there are these these vestigial hind wings back here. What about this one? One set of wings, vestigial wing visible there. So it's a mimic, right? But what group is it really in? I'll let you decide. Blattodea. These are flat, cockroach-like organisms. Well, they are cockroaches. You might well see those in the nature reserve. Okay, so if you have any trees to key out, bear in mind that you may have different terms that you're not familiar with that ask you about leaf arrangement. And so if leaves on a tree are staggered like this, so let me give you some terminology. Where a leaf comes off a twig is called a node, okay? If there's only one leaf per node, it's alternate leaf arrangement. So if you were to zoom in on this, you would see this leaf coming off right here, and right here at the axis of the leaf, which is this angle right here at the node, there'd be a bud right there, and you have a leaf, okay? If there are 2 leaves per node, it's an oppositely arranged leaf. Or you could have whorled leaves where they're all the way around. Now, a lot of plants have simple leaves, like the examples we saw here, where there's a leaf and a bud and then the branch. So the stalk of the leaf is called the petiole. There's a bud right there, and that's what you see in a lot of these plants like these here. There'd be a bud right there, and there's just one leaf per petiole. However, some plants have compound leaves, which look like this. Now, you might think this is a branch with lots of leaves, but there are no buds at the base of each of these leaflets. Instead, there's a bud way down here, and that means this entire thing is a leaf composed of little leaflets. And so this is known as a compound leaf. And there are even doubly compound leaves, which are possible to find out there in the woods. But I just wanted to give you an idea that there are simple leaves where there's a bud right here and one blade on that leaf, or there are compound leaves where there's a bud down here and a bunch of leaflets, but this whole thing is considered a single leaf. Okay? And if your key has anything to say about buds, this is a terminal bud. That's a bud on the end of a twig. And axillary buds are the buds found down here at the base of a leaf or where a leaf used to be attached. One other thing I want to mention is that this is a pinnately compound leaf, and you may find palmately compound leaves, which are kind of like your fingers on your hand, all the leaves coming out from kind of a central area, kind of like your fingers coming off of your palm. This is a pinnately compound leaf, a palmately compound leaf. Think of like a marijuana leaf, for example. That's an example of a palmately compound leaf. Okay, so there's the prairie in the Drumore Nature Reserve. It's a beautiful place, and as you go through your academic career, I recommend you volunteer out there. You can learn how to do prescribed burning. You can help take care of the trails. You can do research projects out there. But we want to be careful out there. There's a few things to watch for. One of the things to watch for is poison ivy. It has a palmately compound leaf, so this whole thing right here is a leaf. They all come out of one point, and they have 3 leaflets on each leaf. If it's leaves of 3, let it be. And this can be a vine, a shrub, or a vine or a shrub, I should say. So just watch out for it. Try to avoid touching it. Bees and wasps are out in the nature reserve. Sometimes yellow jackets in the ground. So if you see some, warn everyone, stay away from that area. If you are allergic to bees, have your EpiPen handy. I've not had anyone get stung by any out there, but it has happened to some folks. So don't catch bees, don't grab bees, just stay away, give them room. There definitely are ticks outside in Arkansas, so it may be wise to wear bug spray and check yourself at the end of lab. Make sure you don't have any ticks coming up your pants or on your leg or in your socks. We're not going to catch spiders, but be warned that there are spiders, including black widows, potentially outside. These are also on campus, around your dorms, around your classrooms. They're around, so just don't grab them. Be aware of their existence. And snakes are also a possibility. I've not ever run into a venomous snake on campus, but it is Arkansas. There are venomous snakes, including cottonmouths and copperheads. Like I said, I have not seen any on campus. I've seen them elsewhere in Arkansas, but not on campus. But just watch where you step and you'll be fine. There are also scorpions under logs that you could potentially find. That would be awesome if you did, but I've not had any students find them either. All right, so just remember, though, if you're not an outdoors person, going to the nature reserve is not really that dangerous. It's less dangerous than walking across a parking lot or taking a drive down the road. There's a lot more people killed with firearm accidents or car accidents every year than are killed by spiders and snakes. So be safe, use your head, you'll be fine. But have your phone on you so you can reach out, and we're going to be working in groups, so everyone should be safe out there. Okay? So let's have a good time. Let's enjoy the weather. Hopefully the weather will be good, and we're going to go on a scavenger hunt. You're going to look for as many organisms as you can on the list, and you're going to show them to your instructor. If you guess incorrectly, your instructor will cross off the correct answer off the answer sheet, and you won't be able to get those points. But you do want to do the best job you can and have a good time out there. So you're going to work in groups of hopefully 3 or 4. Bring organisms to your instructor. Any organism on your sheet that has an asterisk next to it should definitely be photographed rather than captured or picked up. Okay? If you have some bugs and you caught them in a certain area, bring them back to where you found them when you're done. Put them back in their proper habitat. Actually, I need to change. There's a typo here. Some organisms can count for more than one thing, so pay attention. And the highest scoring group will earn full points. So I think maybe we have it actually as 15 points this semester, but the highest scoring group, whoever finds the most things, will earn 15 points, and everyone else can be scaled off of the highest scoring group. If all groups get the same amount of points, then everyone will get a C. That's how it's going to work, okay? And when you're done for the day, clean your buckets, clean out your vials. You'll have vials to put things in. Make sure everything's clean so the next group who starts has a fresh start and can get going right away when lab begins. All right, that's it. I'll see you in lab this week. Good luck, everybody. Thanks for sticking with us this semester.